kiểu咁咧考啲佢哋，我即刻睇我哋幾個 wiki talk 一個，其實小街數啦嘅
This situation, it's just becoming more clear that Poppy's really just there to like because she's part of the group, but it's like so clear that she's not really part of the group anymore. She's not an active member anymore, and that's just so sad to see. And I'm scared for like Jade and Ruby's future because it seems like they're also on their way out with new dolls. Moving on to the episode breakdown,
啊
starting off
有
here
嘢
with episode 2, starts off with Skylar showing off her new abilities, wearing the ring and taking it off. She feels different. She feels more in tune with Rainbow World. So we can see here how the ring really is the object of, that lets these characters transform. Here we have normal Skylar, and then here is, special Skylar. Yay! Sunny's feeling like, okay, well, what's going to happen to the rest of us who do not have rings? And especially Poppy, who of course we all know is not really relevant anymore with new dolls. So Miss Martin comes in and she's like, okay, well, we obviously have two groups here that are like not the same, but she tries her best to be like, you all have equally important jobs to do. I promise you. Yeah, sure, okay, oh sure, Miss Martin, okay. Um, you just have to say that because obviously it's not true. So here we have the one group. Obviously, they're gonna go on their mission to resolve the Moonbow Crystal situation. So we have Violet and Amaya here first. They go to the red beginning of the rainbow area. And because it's red, obviously, it's all very hot. It's very hot weather, very, very warm, and everyone's super hot and just so like sweating and just like, like so tired, right? So, of course, it's very clear now that, like blue, oh, calm, sad, red, ooh, it's hot, too warm, ooh, it's uncomfortable. And you'll see a pattern here with the other crystal, the moonbow crystals, that they also have very similar effects on the residents in the area. So Violet sees the crystal and she's like, I'm gonna walk up this cliff with my heels on. Thank you very much. Amaya's like, well, maybe we should like try the safer path that would also take about the same exact time. But Violet's like, you know what? No, screw that. I want to walk on these heels up on this cliff. After a quick song, showing the different perspectives, Violet finally reaches the top and she goes up the tree as well. But then she, unfortunately, she slips. And of course, like we all thought, it's dangerous. So like maybe you should not do that, especially like wearing blocky heels. Ridiculous. Okay, like who cares? Who cares? Nothing matters anymore. Like nothing matters. And of course she's not gonna get hurt. Like Amaya saves her here, and then they stumble into the tree where, oh my god, that's where the Crystal Palace lies. And so of course that's when they, get their newfound powers. They transform into a magical girl montage, which is also just very boring because it's just like 2 seconds and it's over. And then we have them, here wearing their new cool looks. And then they return to the tree, and of course, what happens? They suck out the color saturation from red from the crystal, and they restore the balance from the area. And then I think here next up, this is episode 3. We have Sky.
OK，好，我可唔可以秒下？哦，居然係做，我今日個數據咧，
And Bella
但係
entering
成日佢哋嘅
the
咩
kingdom
嚟？
area. And so this is disappointing to me because like in the cliffhanger episode for the last episode for season 5, we saw kind of like a green mist appear in
Yeah,
this,
yeah, you're right.
In a portal, right? And we thought, oh, maybe it's like something bad, like a villain. And
係呢個佢睇到啊！呢個睇到依家做緊嘢。哦，我講啦。
because we do hear like a villain laugh or someone's laughing. But it's clear to me now that, what we saw in that last scene was actually just the green, oversaturated, imbalanced crystal from that area sinking into the portal here. So it actually doesn't have anything to do with the maniacal laughter. Those are just two separate things. And I'm not even sure if we're going to ever find out who was laughing in that last scene from season 5. So that kind of sucks because I thought definitely was like something more ominous, but like no, it's just the green from the area, bleeding into the portal, gateway. So whatever. Anyway, so here we have the kingdom where Marina lies, one of the new characters from Sparkle and Shine, which we'll talk about those new dolls in a second. So here we have one of the pets, on the throne, and it's very clear that with the green area, everyone's become very jealous. Everyone's very jealous and envious of the other person. So they're all fighting for the crown. They're all fighting for certain things, and their opinions, including a girl's opinions of each other, become very much more amped up and turned onto a, level 10, and like you can see Bella here, so she's like getting mad at Skylar because Skylar already has her glow up, and Bella's like she's feeling left out obviously because she still has yet to achieve hers. So the two girls communicate with the Marina princess and Rosetta, the designer who they never did anything with. She was like in one episode and that was it. And then at least they even had their debut. Viola still has never shown up in the animated series, so I guess she's gonna just join the others in the list of characters who never appeared in the animated series of Rainbow High, like Shadow High Series 3. So yay. Anyway, and like Lily Chang, and what happened to her? Like, whatever. They have to figure out a way to distract the guards, and they do find a way, and of course it leads them away from the door, and they get in, they're all happy, they find a crystal, they enter a song montage where they realize that Skylar cannot do this alone, and she needs the help of Bella to, balance these crystal again. So Bella gets her transformation really quickly, and
I
then
just saw the best song is the so-called guy. I don't want to say that, so I'll call that guy.
they join hands and they do it together, and then yay, it's all restored, the balance is restored, the kingdom is back to normal, and Marina and Rosetta apologize for their jealousy towards each other, which again was
Well, I did like this really actually. I went like the call I go for so the way where I saw the cognitive guy to the yeah the guy go with that and I was like said it just feel now like they did actually go with that guy to it.
2 scenes and that's it, so it's like
Like I just say I
and so yay, the
I really
girls
did see the good because they got taken down. I actually I could always said they got taken down got ADA, so I just want to talk about it.
they did it, and then we move on to the next episode here, where they have all
Oh, yeah.
returned now to the school.
Oh, give me a minute.
And this whole episode is actually the 4 girls together here going to the beach where the orange oversaturated moonbow crystal lies. So as you might have been able to tell with these effects, well, what will the orange crystal affect? Like what will its effect be on the residents of the area, including Clementine here, who we also haven't seen in a hot second, so at least she's getting more screen time once again. And you will not guess what the side effect is of the orange crystal. It's that they're goofy. They're goofy now. They have too much fun. They have too much energy. And you can see here, Clementine is not herself. She wants to have fun and only fun. So the girls promise to have fun with her if she shows them where the moonbow crystal lies. But then, of course, she was lying, so she doesn't want to. She's like, yeah, I want to skip ahead, and I'm just gonna whatever. So random. And then the Moonbow Mare comes along, and the mayor is like, oh, you know what? Let me show you what's happening here, because I guess the mare, the horse, is not affected by these side effects from the crystal. So the mayor shows them that it's actually just here on the beach. The crystal was just under the water the whole time, and so they restore the crystal once again. And then Clementine's like, yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I was just like really wacky. I was just like, oh, I was just having so much fun, and I was just like, oh. So yeah, anyway, then we move on to the last episode from the live stream, which is episode 5. We move on to the other half of the group. Obviously, they're still searching for clues on where to find these shimmers, because they have nothing else to do.
Because I used to make my girl I try to like sit there like so with the like they go YouTube and the typical down guy and I get to put the thing at me. I call
Unfortunately, just like, that's just the
that's the day I'll be you
these 4 characters, they don't have anything else to do, so all they can do is just sit around and look for clues where to find these shimmers, but they have no idea, so they're just kind of feeling depressed and just really on the down, because they just don't feel like they're contributing as much. But at least Poppy has a speaking line here. She speaks, so yay, Poppy. She's here, she does exist, and she's contributing somewhat to these scenes. So yay. But Sunny's getting like, oh no, what happens if we break up, and that's why we break up, the friendship in the group breaks up. So the other half of the 4 girls, they return from another successful trip restoring a moonbow crystal, actually just the one from last episode. and then the other half are looking at them like, oh no, oh, they're having too much fun. Oh no. And then yeah, so basically you can see here there's a rift starting to appear with the two groups. Sunny is trying to look at it positively, and Skylar tells her like the sooner we end these missions, the sooner we can become one big group again. Well, I guess that kind of works, but also like they would still have rings, so I don't know. I don't know if that really works like that, but sure, let's be positive. So the girls are still looking, and as they're doing that, we have, yes, by the way, this is a song montage. So yeah, by the way, the songs for this season so far are okay, I guess kind of good. Like some are better than others, but they're still like way too short, and they're just still very generic. But anyway, so you can see here, the groups are doing their own separate things, and really, so surprising. So the yellow crystal here, they kind of just like restore it in the montage, so we never actually get to see like the area of this yellow moonbow crystal, unfortunately. And I also believe I missed it here. Yes, this was the purple crystal that they restored, and this seems to be the snowy area, which maybe is where the Winter Wonderland heist episode took place. So they could have shown off more some of the environment, but no, there's like just snow here, and that's it, and they restore it. So it kind of just feels like very, like way too quick. So yeah, that's the purple one. Here's the yellow one. It's all restored. And then, the other group are still figuring it out. Here's the pink crystal. I guess it's in the woods, just randomly. Okay, cool, fine. And then they return. And it all seems to be like resolved, because they restored all of the crystals, but it seems like actually no, because the blue, it's really blue again in Rainbow World, and but the crystal's fine. So yeah, the both groups are now like, well, crap, we both tried to do something and we both failed. And then Sunny says like, oh
No, I'm not sorry that I couldn't tell like today. Who's the dog that it's a sorry that we so like oh there I go. I know. Why can't I was like and I like no that I am. Doing like my academic so cry like I had the door that I like like when you think of those high because it tells the way the academic is I guess I like walk guy.
oh, if only a shimmer would come knocking at our door. And that's exactly what happens with Iris Bow here making her debut. She's like, the girls are like, Ruby asks her, can I help you? And then Iris is like, no. And then she like resolves the blue issue from the school. And then she says, I can help you. Very just so, generic script writing. Sunny's like, oh my God, she really just came knocking at our door when we needed her most. And then she's like, yeah, you will need to find the rest of the shimmers with my help if you want to restore proper order back to Rainbow World. And then that's when it cuts off. And so that's the last episode from, episode 5, season 6, that we've seen so far. I guess we'll have to wait for episode 6 until like next week or 2 weeks from now, because they did give us like 4 episodes, so that's a lot. But yeah, you can watch them right now until April 10th as a live stream on their YouTube channel. I'm assuming that they will just get posted like normal after that. I'm not sure, but I yeah, whatever happens next, I guess obviously we'll see more Shimmer characters, new characters probably, and Iris will be become a closer, a new member obviously of the group. So yeah, I just, to me, it definitely feels like, MJ, they know. They know that 4 characters here don't have new dolls, and they're just trying to make up an excuse in the series to make sense of it. So yeah, it really feels like it's always just about the dolls, and the story comes in second place. It's really more of an afterthought. So yeah, these episodes were fun, but I also feel like it's just so obvious how some of these characters have nothing to do. And lastly, yes, we also have news of a new Sparkle and Shine Series 2 doll line, including once again.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. A great, you shoot a cocker, and bye!